Hi everyone, it's Debbie from the Y. Today is Wednesday, May 20th, and it is World Bee Day. What that is a day when people celebrate bees. And we're going to talk a little bit about why bees are so important. I know to most people, bees are just annoying pests that buzz around and sting you and make you very unhappy. But bees are really extremely important pollinators. What that means is bees will go from flower to flower. Here, see, I have my lovely flowers. And they collect stuff called pollen. Many of you may know pollen as the stuff that gets up your nose in the spring and makes you sneeze and makes your eyes water. But pollen is extremely important. So imagine if these flowers are on an apple tree or a cherry tree or an orange tree or a tomato plant or a squash plant. Many of the fruits and vegetables that we eat need bees to pollinate the flowers. So here we have the flowers and their pollen. The bee comes along and pollinates. What it's trying to do is gather up the pollen on its legs to take back to the hive for food and to help make honey. So it flutters around in the flower and collects pollen on its legs, and then it will go to another flower and do the same thing, and then to another flower and do the same thing, and then to another flower and do the same thing. And in the process, it's picking up pollen on its legs and carrying the pollen from one flower to another flower, to another flower, to another flower. And flowers cannot produce fruit and vegetables unless they get the pollen from a different flower. So even if you have the same cherry tree, this flower cannot turn into a cherry unless it gets pollen from a different flower. And the only ones that are going to move that pollen from one flower to another are pollinators. Birds sometimes will help, butterflies, bats. There are a number of different pollinators, but in our area for the foods that we eat, the most important one is bees. You may be noticing my beautiful pollinating bee. I made this one and you can too. Alongside this MP4 on our Facebook page, you should be seeing this piece of paper. It's a PDF file. You can download this and print it and color it yourself. You may notice that this is actually this one. And all I did was color it in and cut it out. Then I took a shish kebab skewer. Parents, remember, if you're going to use skewers, you need to cut the end off because they're very sharp and they can hurt little fingers. You can also use chenille sticks, what we used to call pipe cleaners back in the day when people still smoked pipes. You can use chopsticks, knitting needles, sticks that you find outside. Any little stick will do. I happen to use shish kebab skewers because they're nice and long and thin. And all I did was color in the bee, cut it out, and I put a piece of tape right across the back. And there you go. You've got your pollinating bee. If you can't download this lovely piece of paper, you can always just draw. Remember, bees, like all insects, are just 3 body parts. 1, 2, 3, 6 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 antennas, and bees also have 2 wings. You can draw it yourself, cut it out, tape it down, and you have your very own flying Pollinating Bee. Please enjoy World Bee Day. Take care and be safe.